Hello everyone, this is Sudeep Shah, astronumerologist, and I welcome you all to my YouTube channel. So, in this video, I'm going to share my views on COVID. A lot of you had requested me to share my views on COVID, like when will it end, when we are going back to the old world. So, before I begin this video, I'd request you guys to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon so that you continue to receive timely updates about my upcoming video. Those who are old subscribers, they know, like, so far I had made only one prediction related to the coronavirus. Now that was in the most probably in the month of August or July or August 2020, when Mars, then Sun and Jupiter, they were in their natal signs, that is natal fire zodiac signs. Now I had said, like, whenever there is an increase in the fire element, whenever the fire element becomes dominant, at that time there is some good news that actually that is actually a blessing upon the humanity. Now if you see the events that took place around that time, uh, Russia had announced the first COVID vaccine around that time only. Secondly, if you see, SEBI amendment, that is the Indian stock market regulator, had introduced new norms for multi-cap funds, and that actually you know added to the growth of mid caps and small caps. You had seen how they had performed in the last few months. So now let's get back to our discussion. So the coronavirus, is said that it is a result, it is a pattern that emerged over a 100-year cycle. Now in 1918, we saw, in the pages of history, it states that the Spanish flu broke out. And now I studied the chart for this time frame, and I studied the chart for the coronavirus, that is from when it originated, especially somewhere between November and December 2019. So I studied these two charts and found that there are a lot of similarities between these two. So if I talk about the transits, on 5th of November 2019, Jupiter had transited to Sagittarius, its own sign, where Saturn, Ketu, and Pluto were already in, waiting for Jupiter to arrive. So this stellium, this four planet stellium, it gave birth to a dangerous, a deadly virus. Now just remember, whenever Saturn, Ketu, and Pluto, whenever they come in conjunction, or they actually trigger a, what do you say, a, a massive transformation in the lives of the people. So then again on 26th December, you had the solar eclipse, and a 7 planet stellium was also there in the Sagittarius on the same day. In fact, the solar eclipse took place on the sign of Sagittarius only. So this is enough. So these events were enough to add fuel to the growth of the coronavirus. And then with Pluto's conjunction with Saturn and Jupiter, and these are the events that that pushed the entire world into a state of lockdown. Now you may ask me why India was in a much better position last time. You see, last time it was the Venus, the ascendant lord, had saved India. Now you may ask me why. Because if you see the chart of modern India, the independent India, the rising sign is Taurus, and the ascendant lord is Venus. So Venus stayed in its own sign for nearly 4 months. Now it became retrograde, and that's why it spent more time in this sign. Generally, it stays for nearly 3 weeks, but but last year it spent nearly 4 months because of its retrograde motion. So now, because I feel that this is the reason, that's why India was in a much better position as compared to the world. But uh, as time moved forward and when things were, you know, becoming normal, then suddenly we saw the great conjunction of 2020, where Saturn and Jupiter, they came at this around the same degree, and around that time only we saw new strains of coronavirus coming out, and which are more, which can infect faster than the original strains. And then again in the month of February we have a similar seven planet stellium taking place in the sign of Capricorn. So see, like in 2019 there was a seven planet stellium, and again in Sagittarius, then again in 2021 there is another stellium that took place in the sign of Capricorn. So so the patterns are repeating, and this is the reason why we saw another wave of coronavirus. But with the transit of Venus to Taurus, you saw slowly the graph started coming down, and then with the transit of Sun to Aries, its exalted sign, you saw things started becoming better. And presently Sun is in Kritika Nakshatra, its own sign. You see how things are changing. Still, a lot of work needs to be done, but Sun will now move to Rohini Nakshatra, that is Moon's Nakshatra. Things will become more stable, and once it goes to the changes Nakshatra, then Mars's Nakshatra, then so this will further boost the recovery rate. And in the recent and in the near period, can see like Mars will moving out from Gemini, and it will also be changing the nakshatra. So once Mars changes nakshatra, you will find a significant improvement in the recovery rate, because Mars indicates vitality, it indicates recovery. So once Mars comes out, changes nakshatra, then things will improve. Then again Saturn is becoming retrograde on 23rd of May. So now this is another booster for the positive news. The positive things are now started to happen on 13th of September. See, now by this time I expect that things would be in a much better place. In fact, from the first week of June only, you will find that the situation has much improved as compared to what it is on date. But with the advancement of Jupiter into the sign of Capricorn on 13th of September, this may trigger a third wave. Yes, I am expecting a third wave as well. So guys, you need to take extra cautious, you need to be extra cautious. Remember, if we are cautious, then we can prevent the growth, we can break the chain. Because I'll tell you, in the month of February I was in Delhi. I went to Delhi for 1 or 2 days for some work, and when I reached Delhi I found that hardly a few people were wearing masks, and it was like I was the only person who was moving around it wearing a mask. So if you again make the same mistake, then the third wave can also become deadly. So it is up to us, we deal with the third wave. So even if the graph comes down, remember, you need to stay cautious, you need to put on your mask, you need to sanitize your hands, you need to wash your hands, and maintain the guidelines that are issued by the government. Because see, this is not the end, the virus is here to stay. Because, and if you see, the virus originated when Saturn was about to enter Capricorn, plus this astrological events that I had talked about. So until and unless Saturn moves out of Capricorn, I do not see any relief. So once Saturn moves out of Capricorn, so you know, things will gradually come, start falling into place, especially the period between November 2021 to April 2022. Now this is a very crucial period. Now if we are extra cautious, if we are careful, then we can control it, and we can win over it. But the thing is that I do not see that the end of this pandemic before April 2022. But however, we may see this challenge till April 2023 as well, because Saturn will again re-enter Capricorn after once it begins its retrograde motion in Aquarius. So we we need to accept the changes, and we need to move forward in these situations. And however, I expect that things will become normal by the time Saturn leaves Aquarius, that is bit on in the year of 2025. But at least we need to stay cautious till April 2022 or 2023. So like this is the time when we cannot take another chance. Okay friends, I hope you liked my research on the coronavirus, and I hope you guys do take care of your health, and I'll see you again in my next video. Till then, do take very good care of yourselves. Bye.